We are back, and we've moved into the FM 101.9 Music Hall. And with me this afternoon is the guiding voice, songwriter, singer, guitarist, founder, and the one permanent member of the Lemonheads.
I've never been called a guiding voice before. That's interesting.
Well, you are.
I like your hall you got here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The music hall.
Yeah.
We don't. Well, we let people know it's not that big a secret. That's actually a hallway.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
Evan Dando is with us, and during the commercials, we were having an interesting discussion about television.
Well, we spend our days like bright and shiny dewdimes. You know, Grant Goodeve actually wrote that song.
Grant Goodeve was the oldest son on Eight
Yeah.
Is Enough. What is he doing now?
Don't know.
I don't either. So we were talking about that, and you were also enjoying the commercials very much.
Oh, yeah.
That's
what I've been going to a lot of radio stations lately, and I've been putting on the headphones and checking out the commercials. They have sound effects, and they're in stereo a lot of the time these days. It's very wild.
Yeah, they spend big bucks on those things. That's what drives every
Right.
radio station, unfortunately.
Wow.
Well, anyway, we're in the music hall to talk about other things than commercials and television, being your music.
Right.
New album out called Car Button Cloth.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually a very interesting story behind that, and I do want to ask you about that and a bunch of other things too, but I'd love it if you'd just start with a song.
All right, yeah, sure. Half past 9, quarter to 10, 10:15, and we're coming around again. Hold off, while we're going soft. I flush my Zoll off, and we're coming around again. Found out and I almost drowned. I walked back down, and we're coming around again. If I could talk, I'd tell you. If I could smile, I'd let you know. You are far and away, my most imaginary friend. If I could talk, I'd tell you. When I could smile, I'd let you know. You are far and away. Khmer Rouge, genocide choir. You play some Mein Kampf, now I'm giving a dog a bone. Slide hunch without the Vegas clue. To keep the blood balanced, now we're coming around again. Half past 9, quarter to 2, 10:15, and we're coming around again. If I could talk, I'd tell you. If I could smile, I'd let you know. You are far and away, my most imaginary friend. If I could talk, I'd tell you. When I could smile, I'd let you know. You are far and away, my most imaginary friend. Slightly annotated version. Thank you.
Evan Dando of the Lemonheads in the Music Hall at FM 101.9. That, of course, If I Could Talk, I'd Tell You, a song we've been playing quite a bit here at FM 101.9. And now it's on the new album, Car Button Cloth. So, I feel like...
There's a plate of homemade wishes on the kitchen windowsill.
And that show's probably still being rerun on, like, the FX channel or something, I'm sure. So let's go back to second grade, a little further back than Eight Is Enough.
Right. Yeah. This is it was a simple experiment. We had to go back and fill up it's second grade. That's not right. Is it? It can't be right. I was like 6.
That sounds like first grade to me.
Yeah, no, it was before that. I had to fill up the bathtub and throw 3 things in. It was sort of like it was like a kindergarten. It might have been more earlier. I just found it in a drawer. I don't really know when it was from. We had to fill up the tub and throw 3 things in and see what floated and what sank. And I wrote all these things sank. And sort of like a mordant sort of commentary. I found it in my adult life. I looked at it as like sort of a mordant something or other.
So the
you know
artwork,
that word mordant?
Yeah,
it's the only
well,
word, adjective I can think of.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
The etymology is from death.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Well, I was going to ask about that because I thought, from what I read, that it was, you were supposed to just throw a bunch of things in and see what sank and what floated. And I thought, well, isn't that odd that he brought up the things that sank, but what about the things that floated? But nothing floated.
Right.
Wow.
Wow.
That's heavy, man.
Yeah.
So the artwork on the cover of the CD, it's a little kid's drawing of the 3 things that sank. One was a car, it was a little race car, and a button, and a piece of cloth.
Right.
So that was your actual artwork from when you were a little kid?
Yeah.
That's what you found in the drawer?
Uh-huh.
How cool.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. Oh, it's not quite as Freudian or Jungian as I thought it might be.
No, it's just sort of like
a little bit bleak.
Yeah, but it's just the three things you picked up. You didn't have any control over.
No, but it's
whether
when
they
you
would...
get that space between when you're no longer a child, you can look at it with that. You can add all the things into it. But of course, when as a child, I was probably like thinking that way already when I was a kid. I was sort of, no, maybe not. I don't think I was. I don't know.
Were you an introspective child? Did you write? Did you start writing early?
I was just into skateboarding when I was like 7. I started skateboarding, and I was into skateboarding and surfing and skiing. That was all I really cared about until I was about 14, when I heard the Velvet Underground for the first time, and Stooges and the Modern Lovers.
And that's
and
when
then I
you
had a new love. Yeah.
started. That's when you formed your band.
When I was a kid, I loved Motown. We listened to nothing but Motown when I was a kid, and
How can you
soul
not?
music. Yeah. But then I found my own music. My parents didn't have Velvets for some reason. I don't know.
Are they musical? Do they enjoy good music
Yeah,
or
they're
rock and roll?
Really, yeah, they love it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Where did you grow up?
Over in Boston,
You surfed in
north
Boston?
of Boston. Yeah,
Wow.
you can eke out you can surf a little bit there. You have to use sort of a bigger board.
And a heavy-duty wetsuit.
Yeah, sometimes. And we used to go to Biarritz like a lot when I was a kid. This place in France. My parents were really into surfing, so we'd go to France for the summer
Wow.
and surf there. It's sort of like California there. It's the west coast of France.
Wow. Sounds great. I'll go.
It's good.
Okay, Evan Dando is
It was
with
better
us.
in the 70s.
Yeah, a lot of things were. Not
Maybe.
everything. Music wasn't. Evan Dando is with us in the Music Hall. Are you going to disagree with that?
The 70s is a pretty good decade for music.
There's always been good music if you could
That's
speak
true.
it
It's
out.
always
You
sort
have
of the same, and then there's times when there's like more good stuff. But usually there's a pretty constant like.
I want to change directions a little bit, just because you look really good. How do you feel?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
What's it to you? No,
Don't
I'm
go
fine.
there.
I'm all right.
No, you look great. And I'm
No, I
asking
won't,
because you took some time off.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I would love to think it was
I
to
took
go
time off
and,
to get really messed up.
Yeah, that's what we've heard because
Yeah,
there were
yeah.
some well
No, it's
publicized.
true. I took time off to just completely bathe in abuse, like to yeah. I bathed quite regularly during the time, but I was abusing drugs a lot.
Yeah.
It's something I had to go through, It's all
Get
part
it
of
out of your
growing up.
system, but luckily you came out on the other side and
Yeah.
you're good now and healthy
I'm
and fine.
Yep.
What does it do to someone who's really dabbling in it and down in that hole, because you can sink down deep? Then when you start hearing about your friends and people and your contemporaries who are dying.
Right. Well, that would be the thing that makes you just say, wait a second, maybe I should stop doing this because I probably would end up dead. And you hear that from enough people. They're like, they must be saying it for a reason. And you just stop.
How did you get out of it?
I heard it from enough friends that I wasn't really, they didn't like me anymore. And so I had to get back to my real state. It makes you selfish, like if you do heroin or something. It makes you. I'm not putting it down anyone who likes to take drugs. I'm not at all like into judging people at all. It works for some people. It just stopped working for me.
Right. No, you're not judging people, but it does. It also clouds your judgment terribly.
Yeah. Well, so does life itself.
Yeah, a lot of things do. Well, good. I'm glad you look great. You're sounding terrific. You're in town
Cool.
for 2 shows at the Troubadour tonight and tomorrow
Yeah.
night. Now, who's in the band?
Fella from Australia name of Bill Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
Person from Dinosaur Jr. called Patrick Murphy, and my old friend John Strom on guitar, and myself. It's like two drums. No, there's like 4. It's a 4-piece drum kit. One person playing it. 2 guitars, 1 bass, and a drummer.
Great. So that is the current lineup of the Lemonheads.
Yeah, straight ahead, just rock and roll sort
All
of
right.
thing.
You're gonna go back and do one of the old favorites for us.
Yeah. I had a request. Okay.
I know a place where I can go when I'm alone. Into your arms, oh, into your arms I can go. I know a place that's safe and warm from the crowd. Into your arms, oh, into your arms I can go. If I should fall, I No, I won't be alone, be alone anymore. I know a place where I can go when I'm alone. Into your arms, oh, into your arms, I can go. I can go.
Thank you, Evan
welcome.
Dando
You're welcome.
in the Music Hall at FM 101.9. The guy from the label, Gary, who's
Yeah,
here.
that was for Jacob.
Jacob had a little baby boy last week, and actually he called like the next day, and that was the first song he requested for the baby. So we did that. Evan Dando, the Lemonheads. The new album is called Car Button Cloth. You're here for 2 nights at the Troubadour tonight and tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a pleasure meeting you. Thank
Nice
you
to meet
so
you as
much.
well.
And I'll think of you every time I see or hear 8 is enough.
Okay, it's a deal.
See you later.